Now, it's Pace of Play.
Come on, Glenn! Come on! Get your head in the damn game!
Putting the boys on the clock.
I guess we're playing for keeps now.
The fuck?
All right, welcome to Pace of Play, and we've got some dynamite subjects for you on this show, and I want to kick it off, Lee. We've talked about this before. I really think there needs to be a rule change to allow sponsors of PGA tournaments here in the United States to pay appearance fees to get some of the marquee players over to their tournaments, number one, to bolster the competition, and number two, obviously, to increase ticket sales, and number three, to get some interest, to get some vibe, to get some energy in some of the tournaments that are suffering because of that. They do it in Europe all the time. It's very common, and I really think that would be a benefit to the PGA Tour and to the sponsors of these events.
Well, we've talked about this a lot on the show and gone back and forth on whether the people should get paid. But are you suggesting that American tournaments should pay foreign players only?
I think it would be an easier exit, an easier access to get some of the people like Lee Westwood, to get some of the top players over in Europe.
So
I said, yeah, I think it's a lot easier to get the American players over here to play in a tournament because they could give them a sponsor's exemption, where normally the Europeans, the guys across the pond, wouldn't even think about coming over to to play the Zurich Classic.
So how would
for instance,
how would the American stars feel about that? That a guy's getting paid to play in a tournament that they're not getting paid to play in?
Well, I don't know. That I agree with you. That's a thin edge, but I think they would welcome the competition.
I think it's a discussion to have. Here's the deal. I think you can accomplish this in a different way. The PGA Tour works with the European Tour, and I know we're going past the buzzer, but the PGA Tour works with the European Tour. They gave releases to players out of the Fries.com to go and play in Turkey.
Right.
Predicated on the fact that they will return and play in the Fries.com at some point. Now, I think if once every 5 years every PGA Tour member had to play in every tournament on the schedule. Mm-hmm. Okay? So Rory McIlroy is a member of the PGA Tour, and every 5 years, once every 5 years, he would have to come and play in a tournament, and it may alleviate the fact to where you have to pay the appearance fees. Because, look, this is where the most money is.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why they come over here.
And that's why they want to play. So,
but I don't think they'd get that pissed off because it would just be bolstering the field, and it would make for better competition amongst the stars here on the PGA Tour.
I don't think Tiger Woods would settle. It would settle very well with him if somebody's getting paid and he's not.
Well,
how about speaking of Tiger Woods? We alluded to it earlier. Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, not able, or not. I don't want to say not able, not participating in this week's HSBC Champions Tournament in Shanghai. Fair to criticize those guys for not playing while they were already over there?
Absolutely. When Tiger gives a ridiculous excuse of being fatigued, he's too tired. Okay, that's to me that's ridiculous.
Well, let's hold on a second. 2 months ago, he said it was a corporate commitment that he wasn't going to play, and then now recently
he says it's
tired.
fatigues.
Yep.
I don't buy that at all. I just think it's a cop-out. As far as Rory McIlroy goes, I can understand better his not showing up to play because he's too busy opening up new bank accounts for Nike with all the damn money he's going to be making.
Well, we're going to talk about that.
Which is ludicrous.
We're going to talk about that a little later. But
damn right that sucks.
I don't like criticizing players for making a choice not to play. I mean, if they don't want to play, they don't have to play. I think that the only thing that maybe is what I'd like to see somebody say is it was a better opportunity for me not to play in that I got paid to play the week before and I'm not getting paid to play in this particular event. And just be honest with us and say, look, it was a better opportunity for me to play a week before. I'm going to get some rest, come back, play in my own tournament.
If they have this event next year, it'll be interesting to see. Tiger got $2 million. Rory got $1 million. He beats Tiger by a shot. Rory McIlroy should go back now. You paid me $1 million. I want $5 million to come back next year. I don't give a damn what you do with Tiger. So we'll see what what those people do. It'll be interesting. But I fault them both for not showing up and playing in this event. All right, LPGA, we talked about a little bit before with Jerry Foltz. I think they're hurting despite what Jerry says. I think they're missing the boat on a lot of great marketing, advertising opportunities, and I think that, and we discussed it, I think they really should be under the umbrella of the PGA Tour, because I think the PGA Tour has the wherewithal to bolster the tournament, to get them better sponsors, to get them better marketing, advertising, the whole deal, because they are floundering. They are floundering. And despite what some people may think about the galleries coming out to watch the women play, or the sponsors or the purses, I think they could do a whole lot better under the umbrella of the PGA Tour.
Well, are they really floundering? I mean, who's the judge of that? As Jerry said, their ratings are up year over year.
It's all relative
from tournament standpoint.
It's all relative.
And I totally agree. If you had 2 people watching last year
and you get 4,
it's
a lot better.
Year,
Absolutely,
your ratings have doubled. I think the biggest or the number one issue with the LPGA Tour, as Jerry alluded to, is American stars. And I think even if we can sell the Asian stars that are American, that were either born and raised here or grew up here playing golf and that type of thing as American players, it could catch on a lot more. I looked at the schedule. I think there's 29 tournaments on the schedule, and half of them are played in the United States and half of them aren't.
Correct.
And that's a big problem.
That's a real big
problem.
Because
we talked to it earlier, the PGA Tour that we've seen over the last 2 or 3 weeks, we're not getting much coverage, or not as many people are watching, I don't think, because of it's on late, or it's not on, or whatever it is. So it's a tough, it's a tough stretch. And let's be honest, the WNBA model of the NBA taking over the WNBA hasn't exactly worked.
I agree with you
so I'm
there.
not sure that I'm sure that the PGA Tour can use that. And there's a connection there. If I'm not mistaken, isn't Donna Orender or did or run the WNBA, who MG was obviously involved with the PGA of America.
Right, yeah.
So there's some connection there.
Yep. Nightmare.
All right, we alluded to it a little bit earlier as well. Rory McIlroy has declined the opportunity to extend his agreement with Titleist, and it looks like he is going to move on with Nike starting in 2013 for a reported $200 million to $250 million
over 10 years.
Contract over 10 years.
Yep.
Not necessarily is it my question is not necessarily about the money or anything. Is this a good move for Rory?
Yes. How could it not be a good move? He's going to a very good brand. He's leaving Titleist, going to Nike. They make a pretty good golf club. And let's be honest with it, Lee. If somebody were to throw that much money at you, how could you possibly say no? I mean, these guys could play with crap. Okay, they could play with broomsticks, and they'd still shoot good scores. But how could you possibly turn down that kind of money and all the commercials he's going to be doing? His brand is going to be spread even further worldwide. I think it's a win-win for both.
No, I totally agree. I think my only question is let's think about it this way. Rory McIlroy leaves Chubby Chandler this year, correct?
Correct.
He leaves Titleist. I'm assuming Nike is going to ask him to leave Oakley. Is Caroline Wozniacki next?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. Yeah. What kind of tennis racket are you going to be playing next year?
That's right.
Yeah.
But no, I think this is a fantastic move. I mean, to move into a global company that has, that golf is such a small piece of what they do, but they want to expand, and I think that there's going to be a couple more sizable announcements coming soon. Of people that are switching club companies and that type of thing and going to Nike as well.
Since Rory and Tiger now kiss-ass buddies, you think Tiger had any influence at all in helping him jump the fence and make the decision?
Well, I think absolutely. But look at it from Titleist's perspective. You've got Tiger Woods leaves in 2002 for golf ball, or 2000 for golf ball, and 2002 for clubs. Phil Mickelson leaves Titleist in 2004 and goes to Callaway. Rory McIlroy now leaves. Titleist is one of those companies that is a golf ball company.
I went to Bridgestone from. I think he abandoned Titleist. It's going to be interesting. Here's a new and novel thought. I would like to just throw out and get some opinion about it. How about the defending champion at an event? He comes back to defend. Okay, no matter what event it is, he is allowed for one round for one round to go out with the guys that set up the course, with the PGA Tour, with the GM or whoever, to help set up the golf course for one round.
Going out with the GM to help set up the golf course?
I'm giving the GM a lot of credit. I know I'm giving the GM a lot of credit. But what do you think about that? That's just one of the perks of winning the tournament. If he's a left or right player, obviously he's going to set up most of the pins to the right side of the green or whatever he wants to do. But I think that should be a perk of coming back as defending champion. And sure, get it out of the way. Do it in the first round.
I can't think of any words to describe how indifferent I am on this. I mean, more ridiculous and asinine, I think, is the idea. I don't think anybody cares. I'm not necessarily, poo-pooing the idea. I don't think anybody would care. I don't think the tour player would want to do it. I don't think the tour would want to do it. What I do think that there are some opportunities is to assist with course setup might be a local amateur that you would auction off the opportunity to do it and donate the money to charity, type of thing. I'm just not sure. I think everybody would be indifferent to the idea. I'm not sure it's a paradigm shifter, so to speak. But I like your creativity. I like your creativity.
Just something different.
Keep coming up with that.
Just something different.
All right, hey, big controversy in the sporting world. We're getting away from golf here. Well, number one, let me talk about we got the Breeders' Cup this weekend. Starting today, and I put sizable amounts of money on Garrett Gomez, and for those listening, he's a jockey, so every race, if Garrett Gomez has a big day...
that's not the name of the horse? I thought that was the name of the horse.
If Garrett Gomez has a big day, I have a big day, and I'm taking Mucho Macho Man in the Classic at Santa Anita in the Breeders' Cup, if anybody wants to know. But big controversy...
I thought Mucho Macho Man was a wrestler.
No, that was the Macho Man.
Oh, the Macho Man. It was not the Mucho Macho Man, yeah. There's your horse.
New York City Marathon. This thing is
what a joke.
Has caught just massive amounts of bandwidth of keeping it on, keeping it off. Mayor Bloomberg, speaking of why we're keeping it on, and now they've canceled it, and people calling in and saying I spent thousands and thousands of dollars to make my way over here, and now I'm in essentially war-torn areas of New York.
I don't know what they were thinking. Bloomberg's a Democrat, so obviously he doesn't think clearly from the get-go, number one. But to do something like that selfishly, to get $350 million when all these millions of people are suffering, just to put him on the front page, and I don't care if these people spent money getting over there. I understand he's between a rock and a hard place. But you got to be serious. There's more important things to worry about than people running through the streets of New York.
That's right. No, it was the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
Canceling the event was the right thing to do.
Yeah. All right. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of Pace of Play. We're going to step away, take a short break here on the 19th Weekend Edition on CBS Radio Las Vegas. Stay with us. We are returning right after this.
There I was standing in the middle of the green, 12